What's up, folks? Welcome back. It's Thursday. We are indeed getting tactical today. I'm just recovering from my trip all the way over to Texas. Got back late, or not super late, but I got back last night. Yeah, got some work done, and now we're getting back into the swing of things. So I was on the road. I was with Angry Joe Monday. So I was live on his stream Monday afternoon, and then just drove all the way between then and now. So no streams this week besides this one. So I figure we would make a little bit of a makeup stream because we have not had the opportunity to do one this week, talking about recent results, because we actually have a couple of results that we haven't discussed quite yet. Because the I feel like my music's a little loud. I'm gonna turn it down. Because it is loud. Because the some of the events didn't finish when I was doing Best Armies in 40K. So I did Best Armies in 40K while I was on the road. I literally fell asleep while editing it, which is a little embarrassing. But the German SUPERMAJOR had not completed at the time I had made my video, because they went to cut a top 8 cut, and then Bay Area Open was just still going. They ran a bunch of rounds. I think they went 6 rounds, and they were at the time I recorded the video, they just had like a round and a half left. I was like, all right, this is crazy. The downside of a 6-rounder on the West Coast. Unfortunately, West Coast events are a little tough for me because they tend to finish right around I want to start editing my video, and so I don't actually get to talk about the results in the video when I'm recording it. So it is what it is. But we get to talk about those. Leagues of Votann had a great weekend this week. We saw undefeated Leagues of Votann from that, and we also saw top 8 Leagues of Votann from SUPERMAJOR. There's also some undefeated Drukhari we get to talk about. This Necron list is nuts. Talk about that one as well. So a lot of cool stuff to discuss today. Love to see my take on Necrons Daemons. I actually played against it last week. I played against Commander Chacha, who was running it, and I've got some thoughts. I think it's neat. I think it's pretty cool. I would recommend dealing with Bingus Bungus's 3+ feel no pain. Just wait till Zote's release and they have a 2+ invulnerable save, and you'll be okay. That's gonna be a big meta change. Also, Tyranids. I mean, I guess we could talk about Tyranids. Yeah. So I feel like we should start with German SUPERMAJOR, because I didn't get a chance to look at any of this event over the course of the weekend. So it's a 5-rounder with a cut to top 8. Unfortunately, they had 10 undefeated, which meant that 2 players ended up not making top 8 cut. Oh, but they cut to tie breaks. Ew. So the number 1 player was 4-1 and got in top cut because he had 4 20-0s on his record. Ooh. Oh, that's a feel bads. You just imagine you're Ennis Wilson, you win all your games, you don't make top cut because of tiebreakers. That's unfortunate. It is what it is. I feel like if you're undefeated, you should get in. But it's tough if you're at like top 9 players. Like, I don't know what you do there. You can't give somebody a bye, and you open the possibility of 2 undefeateds if you run top 10 cut, which is a little bit awkward. That's super odd though. That's an interesting situation. Scared they're gonna ruin Grey Knights with a Cheeks Codex. What drugs should you take to calm down? Just play Death Guard for a while. You'll feel better, I feel like. Innocent Foul deferred to play top cut. That's why Nicholas failed top. Oh, 8 is best X1. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, they had to go back to their respective countries, I guess. I don't know where Ponskin. We'll go with that. But it seems like he's maybe Spanish. Conejo Palo. Do you know what Court of the Archon does? But that's cool. Anyway, good for them. That makes sense then. No feel badsies, I guess, which is nice. So yeah, we can talk about the winning list. Niklas Frischchen going undefeated with Chaos Demons probably lives in Germany but had to work. Aw, that sucks. Oh, I won 5-0 in a super major. I guess like you go in a super major playing Drukhari and you're like, I did not expect to be here. Although I imagine, I wonder what the win rates are for Drukhari, because I bet that they're relatively high because not a lot of like randos play that faction, right? The people who play that faction are very faction specialized. And so I bet that there's a pretty high incidence of X1 and XO placements on the very limited sample size that is the Drukhari community. So Nicholas is playing a Shadow Legion army, and this is an interesting one because it basically takes the archetype, this archetype of detachment, and it focuses it almost entirely on scoring and objective control. Never understood Warhammer Tournament Structure. Just adopt the Swiss system. It does use Swiss bearings. I think if you are confused about the differential scoring system, 100% agree with that. But generally speaking, Warhammer does just use Swiss bearings. Scarlass's first game when it's going to be down 20%. Yeah, well, didn't get to go all like 8-0 or whatever at Dallas Open with his Drukhari. Although he said he was like playing Reaper's Wager for the first time ever or something, right? So. Or maybe he's got an excuse. So yeah, this version of Shadow Legion basically just focuses almost entirely on controlling the objectives. Phone real quick. Yeah, that's embarrassing. It is, instead of taking the standard kind of like brace of havocs and things that can increase damage output, what we're doing is basically just spamming bodies on the table, the fast bodies that are good at basically like disrupting objective scoring. So the output is from Bellicor and a Bloodthirster. We have the Fate to Darkness Bloodthirster who can come in, like, you know, situationally kill something, jump into reserve, and then call it a day. Although currently I think I'm at like 100%. Basically 100% of the time I've seen this guy attack anything, he doesn't kill it, and then he dies. So I think that Fate to Darkness might just be attacks on the Bloodthirster. You could probably cut it. I don't know if the list would actually change that much. I'm not sure I've actually seen this Bloodthirster kill anything on the charge, which is super funny. Turns out when you balance an entire datasheet around Argath King of Blades, and he doesn't have Argath King of Blades, he does hit significantly less hard. Although Honor the Chapter for him is pretty good from the Corn stratagem for the detachment. Differential feels weird in singles events. Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's personal opinion. I don't feel that it's appropriate for singles events, but I understand that if you're in a situation where the highest level of competitive play that you're expecting to participate in is the WTC, then giving people practice on differential scoring systems, because it's a fundamentally different like style of game than playing a win-loss system, makes total sense. I don't like it personally. I think I don't. Yeah, for a bunch of different reasons. But I understand why you would play it for sure. Person going 4-1 MTG would never beat out a 5-0 in a cut. Well, that's what they were talking about. So, like, the thing that happened here, this is what I wasn't aware of, and what the chat told me, is that these players, these two, were offered a top cut spot and declined, which is why Niklas got in. So he didn't beat out a 5-0 for the top cut. He was invited. He was the top placing X1, which I wasn't aware of. Sometimes what they do for these differential systems is that they score entirely based on results rather than record, in which case that would be how that works. But in this case, that's not what happened. But yeah, I don't love it when they entirely rank based on differential scoring. I don't know if it's like totally appropriate that somebody can go like 4-1 or 5-0 and you beat them out going 3-2 because your wins were 20s and your losses were 9s, and you're like, all right, but you still like lost those games and beat a bunch of baby seals for your 20-0s, but it is what it is. I don't know. Teams feels rough with new challenger cards, just because the scoring's going to be closer. I do think that that's an interesting, like, one thing that I've noticed quite a bit, and obviously, like, the results that we're looking at right here are a little, they're a little bit one-sided for the most part, but that might just be because of the size of the event. But I have been noticing that a lot of team events tend to, like, team events already with the WTC system tend to come to draws pretty often, but it feels like a lot more in 10th edition become to draws because the game has focused so heavily on equalizing first and second, like scoring. And the new updated cards may have a similar effect. So yeah, you might just have to go to a new system. I mean, and that's maybe fine. Like, I think that the format would be significantly improved by going to a win-loss system, but I don't know. That's just me. I'm just a silly goober. The challenger cards need to proc at 15-point differential. Yeah, we also have to wait for the. We don't have the unless I'm wrong. I've been out of the world for a week or so. We don't have the tournament packet, right? No, we just have like 1,000 Suns points is the last update. Prior Nexus Tournament Companion has not been updated. Yeah. So there could be additional rules. I know I was talking to some of the TOs at DreamHack, and they were saying that there are, like, already there has been confirmed things in the packet that are not being used inside the tournament pack. So if we're talking about like fine-tuning balance of the mission format, there's probably information we don't currently have. I'm just a silly harpy. That's true. Scraw. I poop a spore mine. Is everything actually bigger in Texas? Yes. Can confirm it is actually bigger in Texas. It's insane. It's insane. Texas is it's a big place. I don't know. It's interesting, like, how distributed everything is in Texas. Like, a city can encompass like these like huge like 20 square mile area because every business is placed like a quarter mile apart. It's wild. The distances are huge. So I haven't had a chance, just to elucidate, I haven't had a chance to read the new mission pack yet. So I don't have any information about it. But we're talking about lists right now. We can do that. I don't know, maybe tomorrow if we. I know that the pack is out, or the the rules are all out. I haven't had a chance to go over them yet, so I don't know. Challenger pack was leaked. Oh, so it has a copy. Let me know. We might go over it tomorrow for sure. I think that's probably a pretty good idea for that. For some stuff to do. Love doing stuff. All right, we've been on the Shadow Legion list for a while. So the remainder of the list is that we have a lot of like tempo pieces between the 18 Screamers. So the Screamers are move 14. They're okay at fighting. They're anti-monster, anti-vehicle. They're kind of inconsistent damage because it's three. They have 3 hit on 3s, winning on 4s. Basically no rerolls unless you have Bellicore around. But it will chip damage into a lot of stuff. And lighter vehicles and stuff like that doesn't have a great armor save, they will, or a ton of wounds, they will knock down. The big thing, though, is that they're so fast that they can cross the table really quickly, and they're very difficult to like reliably remove. So they're -1 if you hit permanently because of the detachment ability. They're 4+ invulnerable save, 18 wounds in total for the entire unit, and then if you don't kill them, they can pay a CP to Fleshcraft, and they can regenerate a Screamer up to potentially 5 wounds back into the unit. So they're very difficult to kill, and they represent 6 OC on the table. We also have a Seeker unit as well that is also going to be able to sort of scout up into the middle and perform secondaries, and also be another fast disruption piece. And then obviously the big one is going to be the Accursed Cultist unit with a Dark Commune with Leaping Shadow. So they get 9-inch scout plus advance and charge, so they can close the distance between the two armies like instantaneously and jail you, or at least sort of toilet bowl the game on turn 1, and that opens you up to move the greater demons into a position to attack, to move the Screamers into a position to like counter to beta strike after that first engagement happens, and that constantly keeps you on your side of the battlefield. All the while, you have a bunch of utility units and a bunch of up-down. So this list is running 15 Raptors. You can pay a CP at the end of your turn to pick up a Chaos Space Marine unit in addition to a Demon unit. So you can, for example, say, hey, I'm going to pay a CP. I'm going to pick up the Raptors and the Seekers, or the Raptors and the Beast of Nurgle. And you constantly have 2 units that are able to reposition themselves to get secondaries. The Raptors also just like can start in reserve and then hop back in onto the table and rapid ingress and be additional utility and disruption pieces. So the list actually doesn't do like the most insane damage that you could expect from Shadow Legion. It's not focusing on things like, all the core demons with all like, Lance, Advance and Charge, +1 AP, all those bonuses you can do on the demons. And it's also not focusing on like the long range attackers where you try to keep away with Be'lakor and shooting like Soul Grinders and Lords of Change and Havoc squads. Instead, it's basically just hammering you into your deployment zone and trying to control the table to score as highly as possible. Clearly that works. 4 20-0s out of 5 games, or I guess out of total of 8 games, 5 20-0s. So over half of them were a max score differential, which makes total sense. If you're not able to like break out of that containment, this list is just going to bowl you over in terms of primary scoring. It will eventually die, but it like late games with Be'lakor and the Bloodthirster and hopes for the best. But for the most part, you're probably either attritioned to nothing if you don't have like particularly heavy armor, or you can't deal with the Bloodthirster, and or you're just too far behind on score for it to make a difference. So yeah, I think this list is really neat, to be honest. I think it's using the benefit of having basically like Raptors are an interesting inclusion because they're not really something that demons don't have otherwise, but they give you additional access to it, right? So in the comparison with like something like Fleshhounds, the Raptors are smaller, they have a gun, they have they're a little bit harder to kill. They're a base armor save instead of an invuln save. So they're sort of a side grade, but the benefit is that you can take things like Seekers and Screamers and Beasts, and then in addition take triple Raptors. So you're basically able to like compound the number of these little 12-inch movers or these fast-moving units that you have to the point where you just basically automatically score all your secondaries every turn, and that's why the scoring is so high, which is cool. I don't know. I think that's neat. I think that's clearly effective. So, it's a pretty cool list, chat. It's pretty cool. Should we talk about Tyranids? I guess people want to talk about Tyranids. Is this Space Marine list a regular Space Marine list? Ew. Oh, it's a Tigurius list, but it's mostly regular Space Marine stuff. Boring. There is some Blood Angels to talk about, though, which is neat. We can talk about Space Marines, though. Half Lotus have played the new cards. Going second is definitely stronger. Ooh, that's unfortunate. I don't like that. The going second is already, I think, stronger in the vast majority of cases in Pariah Nexus. If in the new chapter, in the new mission pack, it is similarly stronger, then that's not good. Oh boy. This is the 3rd major in a row that Nicholas has won. Yeah, I know that we talked about that Shadow Legion list in the previously. I didn't know it was 3 in a row. That's crazy. I do wonder if there is going to be like a reckoning coming for demons in the Dataslate. They've been so consistently near the top. They haven't been like outside of the like couple weeks after Shadow Legion got released. They haven't been super dominant, but they've been consistently so high that I wonder like if something will happen. I have a suspicion that Leaping Shadows gets changed. I could also see Fade to Darkness get changed, maybe, and be like non-monster or something. I think there's still play with it, but it does feel like, I don't know, kind of intended that it goes in the Bloodthirster. Although, as we said before, the Bloodthirster fails to kill his target like literally every time, so I don't even know why it matters. But like we saw Plague Legion win out this weekend. We see Demonic Incursion like consistently do well. There's just like so many viable archetypes. I don't really know what you do to like holistically nerf them. Maybe you increase the points of things like Nurglings, which like probably should go up anyway. And like Beasts of Nurgle should like probably be 75 points. And that might help like curb it a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some demon hits in the upcoming data slate. Fate Thirster might fade into the war forever. Yeah, I don't know. It's like he's such a weird piece because it's like the threat of that effect is so powerful. It just like never works how you want it to. Oh man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I think that it's almost certain that we're getting the balanced data slate. What was the leak? The Art of War leak is like it was early next week. It was like the 5th or something. Where we're getting new detachments as well as new points and stuff. So we'll see what everything looks like next week. How's Guard been doing? We actually have a Guard list to talk about. There was an event that I don't believe finished at the time I recorded Best Armies this week that I didn't talk about, and that was won by Astra Militarum. One thing I will say, though, is that we watched actually Guard play a bunch of times over the weekend. We watched John Winter Russell, who I've never actually watched play in person, rocking Guard. I know he's really a really strong Quebecois Guard player. Holy shit, is he really good at playing that faction? Oh, my God. But we watched several games of his. We also had Ben Urich on the main stream once and the channel member stream once as well, playing against Ultramarines. And it was, I think, really eye-opening to see Modern Guard in action, because I do think that there's a lot of little interactions that people don't necessarily aren't necessarily aware of. And to be honest, like, it's not a faction, and I don't really know why this is. It might be like a community bias or something, but it's not really a faction that I see played that often. I certainly have less experience with Guard than I think I do again with any other faction in 40K right now. And so getting basically a whole weekend to watch some of the best Guard players in the world play was like super eye-opening. The faction seems really good. I think to a level that I don't know if I'd really experienced before. So that was super sweet. World Eaters did pretty well. Yeah, we had some World Eaters. Go undefeated, which was neat. Any chance I'll go over the Oops All Snake Tyranid list? I did in my video on Monday. If you want to watch that video, it's over there. Go check that one out. Guard players just like to rock with a Banehammer and throw dice. Yeah, but we'll talk about why like Guard is why that's it's probably the wrong way Guard. You know, their utility is extremely strong. All right, chat. Let's talk about this invasion fleet list. Caillou or Rilana. Undefeated, or not undefeated, but got to finals with Tyranid invasion fleet, an 11-9 finals. Jesus. And this was streamed by Breaking Heads, by the way. Breaking Heads streamed the German Supermajor. And they did stream the top cut. I haven't watched the games yet, but that sounds like a fucking insane game. Damn. Even though it's Tyranids into Demons, which is like a little bit funny because Demons can, in some instances, totally blank their army ability, which you never want to see, because you can sit in the Shadow of Chaos, reroll Leadership Aura from Be'lakor, and suddenly you are negating the malice from the Nero Tyrant, and you are re-rolling your failed battle shock checks from Shadow in the Warp. So if you can turn on that ability at the time that Tyranids would be behooved to shadow you, you can in some cases totally blank their shadow. It's not perfect, I think, because of how like distributed that particular demon list wants to play, and also it would require you to turn off your shooting aura from Be'lakor, which is batting into Tyranids. But in some cases, you can just totally juke them. It's like super bad. So that said, I think Tyranids are not having to worry about AP does make him a much more reliable into demons, which is good. Whereas like into 2+ armor saves, they struggle quite a bit, or they can struggle quite a bit. So there, you win some, you lose some, I guess. Had a Tyranid shadow you and you healed everything. Yeah, that happened to me one time. I played against this poor Tyranid player, and they just couldn't use Shadow because I was like I was playing 5 Greater Demons, I think, and my whole army was Shadow of Chaos the whole time. I believe that his Neuro Tyrant had died because he didn't have an opportune time to use it, so he would have just been testing me on 5s and it would have healed all my stuff. So he just literally never used the ability. I don't know. It's unfortunate. But it is what it is. Sometimes you just hit those like weird idiosyncrasies in terms of. I'm seeing 60 Hormigons down here, by the way. This is a lot. You hit those weird mechanical idiosyncrasies, and like to some extent, it will just happen, and that's the price of having like a wide variety of mechanics in the game. Sometimes you just get interactions that are super bad. It is of course like extra bad because it's Tyranids who are just a dumpster fire of a codex, but. Whatever. So we've got a Hive Tyrant with adaptive biology, so he's hard to kill, a Neuro Tyrant, and then a bunch of little guys, Gargoyles, 60 Hormigons plus Termagants. So we have the Endless Swarm stratagem, so our Teaming Mask guys can come back. You can add more dudes back to the unit in order to maintain control of objectives, which is why we want to play the big bricks. That gives a lot of primary control as well. So they can constantly be disrupting you off of your secondary or off of your primaries, because the Hormigons will always get in, even if you'll kill most of them because they're just guardsman profiles. You probably won't kill all 20, and then the remainder are OC2, and they'll take your objective away. We got a Biovore, double Exocrine, Lictor, Maleceptor, double melee Tyranid warriors, double Tyrannifex. So this is actually a little bit of tech that I kind of like to see. I watched now I can't remember who I watched, but I watched a while ago a game. It was a teams list, but it was an invasion fleet, and I think it had 6 warrior units. I think it was 3 3-man melee weapons and 3 3-man ranged weapons. And the interesting thing is that if you are playing this game where the goal is for your Tyrannifexes and your Exocrines backed up by Hive Tyrant to kill big stuff, right? If there's a big thing on the table, you want to shoot it with huge, stupidly powerful guns until it goes away. And that's just how it is. Obviously, the Tyrannifexes and the Exocrines are less consistent at fighting little things. So if you entirely build the rest of your army around trading for your opponent's utility, Tyranids can do that really efficiently, and warriors are some of the best ways of doing that. The one downside is that they're relatively slow, but if all you're using them for is these little 3-man utility squads that will run around and you don't really care if your opponent like overextends to kill them, then that's fine. But if these guys catch like 5 Space Marines, they're just gonna kill them. They're just gonna do a murder, and it's gonna be brutal. They essentially hit on 2s against infantry, assuming that you've chosen that as your invasion fleet adaptation. Because they get sustained hits 1, which is basically +1 to hit, but they also get reroll 1s, so they net I think like a slightly more hits than they roll attacks. So it's like 18 attacks, 19 hits or something like that is, I think, somewhere the math. It's close to the math. And then winning on 3s for rolling AP2. So the damage from these guys is crazy if you can get them into little things that they don't need to like wound on 6s. So if your army is built around just like trading your utility for their utility, and all you're left with is bugs versus tanks, then you're in a pretty good spot. Especially because you can do so much like board control with 60 Hormigons, right? Like you can wrap stuff with Hormigons, you can move stuff, block stuff with Hormigons all day if you have these huge bricks that you're talking about. And then if you're killing your opponent's little infantry stuff with your own utility, then you're going to be in a pretty good spot, like on the material trade, which I think is pretty sweet. Did Death Guard traumatize tournament skin? Yeah, for sure. They did. Virulent Victorium with 1 million little vehicles is like kind of insanely overpowered. Is the vibe right now. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some changes to the faction next week if we're getting a balanced data slate, because we do need like an emergency FAQ for them to, we haven't gotten an FAQ for the faction quite yet. There's obviously some stuff that people are expecting to see change, things like Death Rod Terminators getting, a clarification on their 6-inch deep strike ability, stuff like that. And I would not be shocked if we saw some changes to Death Guard as well. At that, in that case, it's such a difficult faction to trade into because they're so efficient right now. Like you can put a big tank with a bunch of anti-tank guns and kill their little tank, but their little tank costs half as much as yours, and one of their little tanks will kill your big tank, and you're like, great. If they get lucky, might take 2, but even then, you're trading down. They're going to stay untouched because they're so new? Yeah, we'll see. I think at the very least, they'll probably get some FAQs, which could change what they're capable of. I mean, who knows? All right. This is boring. Ultramarines. We can talk about Blood Angels momentarily. Torben TL running Experiment with Blade Guard. It's a Liberator Assault group, I think, as we would expect from Blood Angels at this time. Take away Death Rod Terminator 6-inch ingress. Make him do a 9-inch ingress. And 20 points in the Fetid Blow Drone. Yeah, I can see that for sure. The Fetid Blow Drone's points value is like crazy right now. I think it's pretty obviously too low. Exactly how too low is an interesting quandary, but it's definitely too low. I also think too that Mephitic Blight Haulers probably also I think also probably too low. I think like most lists are starting with like like 8 blow drones plus Blight Haulers, like a combination of light vehicles. Like it's a lot. It's quite a bit. Blight Haulers are absurd. Yeah, it's like +1 to hit wounded against monster vehicles, right? It's like okay, because it's not like your infantry is going to survive, right? It's Death Guard. But just having this like little point and click adventure game, who's like super good at tanks, is like super powerful. All right, talking about our friends, the Liberator Assault Group. So Raid Feud Warrior Captain, so we can wombo combo out his big thing. Judiciary with Gift of Foresight, which is it's his respawn, right? It's an auto 6. Excuse me, it's an auto 6. So it gives him it becomes the Infernal Master ability. I forgot. Glimpse of Eternity. Although it's once per turn. It's once per battle round instead of once per turn. So it's a slightly better Glimpse of Eternity, I guess. Chaplain and Lamarties. We've got Assault Intercessors and regular Intercessors for utility. Double Impulsors. Double JPIs. 12 Blade Guard veterans. We saw a list. I think Josh Roberts was playing it. Innis Wilson played it a little bit as well. Was 18 Blade Guard veterans. Looks like we're down to 12 now, at least for this variety. We do have 10 Death Company Marines with jump packs to hang out with Lamarties. So we have a big punchy brick with those guys. Double Gladiator Lancer for some backline shooting. Reaver Squad, Scout Squad, and Calidus Assassin. So we have attachments for the Blade Guard veterans. We have the Chaplain, as well as the Judiciary can go in. So we have a very aggressive unit with the Chaplain. And then the Judiciary with the Gift of Foresight can auto 6 his wound rolls to automatically deliver devastating damage. And both of those can attach into Blade Guard Veteran, and all of those units can go inside Impulsors for delivery. And then the Blood Angels Captain can hang out with the Assault Intercessors to get rerolls on his approximately 1 million devastating Power Fist attacks. This guy averages he's like, I'll swing 9 times and hit 56. And you're like, how is that possible? And then you're dead. It doesn't matter how it's possible. You've been killed already by that little friendly man. Pretty cool. Nice stuff. It's cool to see, I guess, and typically we've seen the extra Blade Guard Veteran squad, but switching that out, and I guess some utility probably for the Death Company Marines is pretty interesting. And I guess, too, that the Lancers for a while were being played by Vindicators, but Lancers being significantly cheaper and not really taking up the same real estate as the Impulsors probably helps. What kind of guns do we have in Impulsors? Is it shield drones? Yeah, shield domes? Yeah, it is. Neat. They get 14 anti-infantry shots out of the grenades and iron hails. It's pretty cool. Blade Guard brick with the Judas here is so much fun. Having a lot of fun with it. Some asshole broke into your truck and stole your armies. What the fuck? Kenny and Jay, that's insane. What? I'm sorry that happened. That's fucking brutal, dude. It always sucks too because, like, I don't know. Would it be better? Here's a hypothetical, chat. Would it be better or worse if you knew that whoever stole your stuff was like, sick Warhammer army, and was like excited about it because you know that someone who's breaking into cars and like stealing what look like electronics equipment, right? Because like a Warhammer army inside a case looks like a camera or a computer or something like that, and they're like, oh, it's a padded case, it's probably expensive tools of some kind, and then they take it and it's like toys, and they for sure just throw it out, right? And that's like, to me, that like sucks even harder than if they had just like sold it to someone, you know? I don't know. Oof. Details on the FLG community page. Do you have a link, by the way? I will share that around. I don't know where the community page is. Is that on their thing? Oh, it's here. It is. Oh, it's a Facebook thing. Here we go. I found it. Oops. Hello. All right, folks. Let's look at the armies. So is Votann? Pics are attached. It was Votann. Chaos Army looks gorgeous. It sucks. With a bunch of Hell Drakes. Okay. Facebook, really? All right. Facebook logged me out, I guess. So I can't look at the pictures anymore. Oh, now I can. I don't know. I don't understand. We're going to start a bodybuilding channel when I'm back at the gym more regularly, baby. Someone excited to see 40K should be ashamed enough to give it back. No, they don't want to incriminate themselves. Why is it? God damn it, Facebook! What the fuck? Let me fucking share the pictures, asshole. Like, two-factor authenticates me to get back in, so I can't just like log in. Ugh, so stupid. I don't want to log in to Facebook. Then I'll get like annoying notifications. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, chat. Yeah, if you see the armies, I know it's a pipe dream, but it would be nice to get those returned for sure. That's like super shitty. That sucks really hard. Kind of hope it was a random crime. Would hate to think somebody in the community targeted. Would hurt more if it was a gamer? Maybe. I had some stuff stolen earlier this year. It was just like a package off my doorstep before I went to I was able to pick it up. I wonder what. So it was packaging material. So it was like printed boxes with logos and artwork on them and stuff. I'm like, what did this person think that they were getting? Like, I don't know. Like, you open it up and you're like, it's a box. It's a cardboard box full of other cardboard. I'm like, feel good about that, my guy? You feel like you got your time, worth? I don't know. It's a whole thing. But anyway, Ganny, that sucks super hard. My heart goes out to you, man. That's hyper shitty. I'm sorry that happened. I hope that something does sort of come back along your way, but I know that it's a vain hope, but we can still have it, I guess. All right. What should we talk about next, chat? We got some Votann, William Furyman. It looks like he's doing. I imagine this is Noise Marine Renegade Raiders. No. Wait, what? Fascinating. Fascinating. Come see at the Reg booth if I'm ever at one of your events. Which events? Which events do you run? Actually, Tau will get buffs in the next Dataslate? Yeah, I think so, for sure. I would expect to see Tau do, like, get some bonuses, because they are, like, really struggling, for sure. So William here playing a Renegade Raiders list. Abaddon the Spoiler, Chaos Lord with Dread Reaver, so the rerolls when you're near the deployment zone, and then a Terminator Sorcerer for the AP boost. We've got double Legionaries, a Rhino to carry them around in, double Bikers for utility, and then a bunch of guns. Vindicator, triple Destructors, and then this is interesting. So it's a Chosen squad, so we can attach Abaddon into the Chosen maybe, to give him advance in charge. And then 15 possessed. A min and a max possessed unit. I wonder what is there explicit synergy? You can give the possessed advance in charge, right? With Renegade Raiders, they just don't get the you can't give them rerolls because they can't disembark from transports. Yeah, you can auto 6 advance them if you wanted. And you can advance and charge them if you want. So they're just like super fast. They just won't get the transport synergies, but that's probably not the end of the world. Because that's really just the reroll strat. Man, I forgot how good Renegade. Like, it's been so long since we've seen like Chaos Space Marines just like murdering everyone, just being a big dingus, and I forgot how of like a ridiculously powerful detachment Renegade Raiders was. Full hit and wound rerolls if you disembark a transport targeting enemy on an objective. Like, sick, dude. It definitely goes to show how much the game has power crept since this came out, though, because like that's such a powerful strat. It requires you to jump through some hoops, but full hit and wound rerolls is crazy, especially for an army that has like basically universal sustain or lethal hits. But Death Guard just get that for like 2 CP or whatever, prefer for a CP depending on the detachment, which is like wild. That's super crazy. Oh, transports are mounted only for the auto 6 advance. Yeah, you are right. It is mounted only. Any frontline gaming? Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I don't get out to enough frontline gaming events. Because yeah, it's hard to get out to live stream them is the problem. Unfortunately. I wish it didn't work this way, but unfortunately I do need like support from events in order for live streaming to make sense. And Frontline Gaming has been unwilling to support my travel. Basically, I just need my travel expenses covered. Otherwise, it's like not financially viable for me to leave for a week, which sucks. But it is what it is. It's been obviously the events that do ask me out. I greatly appreciate. Thank you, and hopefully, it gives everybody some content to watch. No events this weekend, but I am on the docket for ATC New York next week, and I believe I just asked for clarification. See if I get a message back. I believe I have an event the week after as well, in Georgia. So. No, nothing this week, but the next 2 weeks I have events on the docket, and then I believe like basically all the way through July, I'll be live as well, which will be crazy. which I'm excited about. All right. Let's move on. We want to talk about some Leagues of Votann, I think, before we keep going. And we should talk about this Drukhari list, of course, because we always want to talk about Drukhari when they do well. Mathieu Clerc went undefeated went 5-0 with Leagues of Votann. Lost the first round of the top cut, unfortunately, but still killing it with Votann. And I think we can roll that into some Bay Area open discussion as well, if we would like to do that, because there is some good Votann stuff going on. Yeah, it should be a lot of stream content coming out, which I'm excited about. But if you are looking for more content to watch, obviously, I do have games from each of the rounds of the DreamHack Invitational up for channel members and for patrons. I think what I'm going to do in the future, just as a note as well, talking about live streaming momentarily, I believe that what I would like to do is, if Venue Wi-Fi will support it, I'll dual stream 2 tables. So I'm going to stream one for the main table and a second table that will be a members only stream. And so you can watch both games live if you want to, if you're a channel member. Obviously the VODs will be archived, so if you are a member, you'll be able to go back and watch the VOD of the member stream. But then for my patrons, I'll cut that stream up into individual games and then upload that on my Patreon. So in the DreamHack Wi-Fi, as you probably noticed, was horrendous. They had to their crew had to come out and physically run a new cable in order to get a connection to my computer, because the connection inside the hall was so bad. So they literally had to roll run a cable out and recrimp a new Cat5 connector on it to connect my computer. Fucking wild. You didn't quite notice it. It happened just off camera basically, but it was a big production. But in the future, assuming that the event Wi-Fi is better in future venues, then we'll have two streams going on simultaneously, which would be sweet. Make sure my name comes up next time we're talking about event streams. Hey, that'd be sick, dude. Hell yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I had a long discussion with one of your organizers in the past, and he made it clear that he was unwilling to help support me. But obviously, he is no longer with the group. Everyone probably knows who it is, but he is no longer with the group. So would love to have that discussion again for sure. And hit me up if you are. If you want to get in touch, obviously my Discord is, I'm on my Discord all the time. And then you can hit my business email, which is in my contact section of the YouTube channel as well. I appreciate that. Pay me in Slim Jims. I was just, I'll suffer the heartburn to commentate the RTT. For sure. Yeah, I would love to come and stream some frontline games, frontline events for sure. Could make an effort for ACO this year, I guess, because or the next one, which I don't know when it happens, but I'm kind of in the vicinity now, which is good. I'm only a couple hours away. Yeah, here's some Oathband. So it's an Appraising Glare champion, plus a Grimnir and a Call with Grim Demeanor, so we get to punch through modifiers. Hearthkin Warrior Squad, double Sagittors to split it up. So we're probably combat squatting the weapon team, and then putting a 5 Chthonian Berserks into the other Sagittor. We have 10 Chthonian Berserks, which I imagine is in a land fortress. It is an Einhir Hearthguard unit. I don't know what would go into the second land fortress. It might just be the characters, to be honest. The Call, I imagine, attaches here into the Hearthguard unit, and then the champion sometimes runs by himself, and the Grimnir as well. So it might actually just be carrying around characters, because the Grimnir might just be hanging out either with a Hearthkin Warrior unit to give them +1 toughness on a 5-man, or just by himself as a little 3-man unit, because he's 65 points for his stat line. It's actually kind of sick. Hey, Kenny, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, hit me up. Get in touch. Slide into my DMs. I'd be happy to talk it over. So it's 10 Hearthguard, double Land Fortress, triple Herdkin Pioneer plus Herdkin Year. So classic, like body block the middle out, and then give ourselves places to scout for the Herdkin Pioneers so that they can do stuff in the early game and then run up the table. Usually, how these lists like sort of work is that you try to like you set up a position where your opponent has to overextend into the land fortress in order to like wrest control of the center of the battlefield. So you play very aggressively with one land fortress. Sometimes, I guess, if you have one that has that can have Hearthkin in it, you can like basically threaten to throw a bunch of OC on the objective if they kill the fortress. So you can make it really awkward for them, but you set up a situation where they have to commit into the land fortress, and then that gives you a good rapid ingress with the Hearthguard. And usually once they've killed the land fortress, they will have judgment tokens on them. You sustain 2 the Hearthguard, and they just vaporize like literally anything. They'll kill basically whatever once the judgment tokens are fully online. So the land fortresses like threaten your opponent, but then you have this brick and this brick that can act as these like counter attacks. And you roll that out into an attrition win. Essentially, you like peace trade into to victory, which is good. I don't know. That's usually how things go. We actually watched a list kind of like this last week on the live stream, and except instead of being a 10-man, it was 2 5s. Which I was like, there's no way these guys get anything done. Like 2 5 Hearthguard, I don't know. And then they were really good. I was shocked by how impressed I was by the 5-man Hearthguards. Sometimes you see that just to be the counterpunch inside the land fortress, but there's very little reason to play them over 10 Chthonian Berserks. But as like little units that can fit into weird spots of the table, because they're relatively small models, just being able to jump in and like clip a utility unit, right? You appraising glare an objective, they're standing on objective, you jump them in, blow them away with grenade launchers, and then you just have this 5-man that just wanders onto the objective. Was like, oh, okay, well that seems good. I was very impressed by it. I liked it. Love the model, but he's such a sad data sheet. I think the Grimnir is actually he's probably underrated. Mostly because of his points. Like, he's not the most exciting like stat block in the world, but 65 points for what you get is actually sick. The cutoff, if you can attach him to a Hearthkin unit, and oftentimes you don't, his leadership ability is actually very relevant because giving him increasing toughness 5 infantry to T6 is a pretty important breakpoint. So that's already like pretty neat. And then you also get 3 models that can auto unbattle shock themselves. So even if it's the Grimnir by himself, he's guaranteed to not be battle shocked, right? Because this isn't a leadership ability. He can just be like on his own. It's really inconsistent. You kill him because you're T5 with the 4+ invulnerable save. You have to punch through 2 cores before you actually start dealing damage to the Grimnir himself. And he's only 65 points and has a D3 damage gun. So it's like, it's nothing in particular about the Grimnir is like, wow, that's amazing. Like, he's going to kill a tank or whatever. Like, no, but would you like, he's the same cost as like, you know, I don't know, like 4 random Space Marines, and like the comparison's like pretty good for him. You know, he's certainly not a Space Marine scout squad, but like, is he worth? I don't know. He's probably close to the cheapest data sheet. Oops, in the faction, I would imagine. I don't know if that's entirely the case. If that's totally true, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be close, right? Oh, I collapsed all my windows. He's a wizard, doesn't do any wizard stuff. He casts Ancestral Wrath and does D3 damage, maybe. I don't know. That's pretty good. When you're +1 to wound, that's actually a pretty solid ability. If warriors get a detachment of the buffs, I'd love to see them run a big brick of 10. T6 little guys with the 2 with 2 4-ups that you can soak big hits into. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think for a while there was a list in 9th edition. There was a list that like you could really spam warriors out, because I think you could take up to 20 Hearthkin, right, in 9th edition, and then like supercharge them with psychic powers. But they lost the ability to do that. But it would be cool if that was an option for detachment. I'm interested to see what Votann get when they finally get a codex. Hopefully it lasts more than like a week before 11th edition comes out, but we'll see. It does feel like they're running out of time to release codexes, and these guys are still waiting, but I don't know. They've been able to make do with what they've got for a while. We've seen the list with all the Thunderkyn. I think we're going to go talk about that right now. So this is the Junior Flahee's list, right? So I didn't get a chance to talk about Bay Area Open previously because it finished after I had recorded my best armies video. So it wasn't done at the time that I was putting those results together. And it was won by Leagues of Votann, which is like kind of out of the blue. Although Junior Flahee's like an incredible player, right? He's kind of like king of the West Coast, because his name constantly pops up every time we talking about West Coast events. Forrest Phantom also, Space Wolf is basically like always at the top with Space Wolves over there too. So there's like a lot of really strong players in that area. Drukhari, the Armie's getting the 3-week codex treatment. Yeah. It feels to me like they don't really know how they're like what they're supposed to be doing with Drukhari this time around. Like, I don't know. Maybe they figured they botched Drukhari so hard last edition that they're like giving them the cold shoulder. Although I wonder too if like maybe we're staring down the barrel of a range reset, and either they will not get one for 10th edition, and in 11th they'll like get a bunch of new shit, or they'll get a bunch of new shit and then like roll that into 11th edition. Watch them legend the whole army. Yeah, womp. Codex schedule should just reverse. I don't know. I don't think you actually want that, because you'll be like, hey, we'll get a new codex for the new edition. Except that means that you'll go like so long before getting a new codex that like your codex will be outdated like immediately. And then you'll have like you'll get 2 codexes back to back and then have nothing for like 5 years or whatever. Which would suck. I don't know. I think that would be bad. Yeah, we were talking about that. I don't know if I have the window open anymore, but yeah, it seems like a bunch of armies got stolen out of Bay Area Open, unfortunately. Which sucks super duper hard. Love to see a big new Vect, a new new custom Raider, whatever his Raider was named. Would be neat. Big, huge. Maybe they'll make a plastic Tantalus. Plastic Tantalus would be neat. All right. So Junior's rocking. Double broke your Iron Master. No enhancements. He does have an Appraising Glare. Excuse me. I want Appraising Glare on one of these guys. No, last Codex, new Codex 3 weeks later. Yeah, like last Codex, and then you're in the starter set for the next edition. Like, well, Hearthkin Warrior Squad, 3 Sagittor units. Oh yeah, look at those broke your Thunderkyn. So it's 2 3s and a 6. A Chthonian Berserk unit. Oh, excuse me, chat. Ooh, are you your Hearthguard? 1 Lane Fortress, which can carry. I think it can carry just the 3 Thunderkyn, right? I don't believe that it has enough spots for the Iron Master too. So you probably have the 3 with an the 6, I guess, with an Iron Master, and then a 3 with an Iron Master in reserve. And then you play the other one out of the transport. So it's a 5 model unit with the Iron Master himself, and then it's 9 transport capacity for the 3 dudes, right? Yeah, so you're one overfitting 3 dudes and a Brokir Ironmaster. That feels like such an oversight. Because it's 4, or I guess you're slightly more. It's 14 models for the 3 exo armor guys and the exosuit guys, and then 5 models for the character. So 14 total, and the Land Fortress has a transport capacity of 12. Does anything break if you put the transport capacity of the Land Fortress up to 14? I don't think so. It lets you fit 10 warriors and a Grimnir, and it lets you fit Brokir Thunderkyn unit with a character. And I guess you could put like 2 6-man Hearthguard units with characters inside, but like or 5 mans with characters. But I don't know if that's like a huge deal. Because like they've updated transport capacity for Space Marine transports to make them viable. It's like weird that they just haven't done it for Votann. I don't really understand. Yeah. Ecogs cannot be stored in the overhead luggage bins. You can't fold them up and put them in the it's like a bus where they have the cargo container underneath, like between the wheels. You can't put them in there. That's fucking wild. So this is like 1 million Graviton blast cannons. We've got 5 of Chthonian Berserks, a 10-man Hearthguard, 1 Land Fortress, triple Pioneers, 1 unit of Hernkin Jaeger. So that's like normal. That's basically the same thing that we've seen from the past. Land Fortress for the 3-man to hang out in. We have Chthonian Berserks that can hang out in a Sagittor. And then I guess just like we fill the other Sagittors with the Hearthkin squad, right? And then we're just rocking a 9-here champion with Grim Demeanor to attach in with the 10 duders. So it's basically the same, essentially the same like thought as we had previously, but the place of the second Land Fortress, the same composition as we had with the other list, but the place of the second Land Fortress is being taken up by just 1 million Graviton blast cannon guys. Like, listen, to be honest, the 6-man Brokir Thunderkyn with the character is actually like a lot. It's a lot of like beef to deal with. The interesting thing is that the Brokir Ironmaster is so many models. Let's see if I can find his data sheet. He's a weird one because he has like so many individual profiles. So the Brokir Ironmaster is like so many individual models because you get 5 dudes. Also, you want to talk about like weird profiles? This is a 65-point character with 5 models in it. So for 65 points, you get basically like an entire unit of like a regular unit of dudes, but it's a character with like a bunch of different attacks and special abilities. So it's a T6 unit with the exoframe dudes, and they can regenerate. And also has 4 ablative infantry, right? Because of the ecogs and the Iron Can guys. So any big hits, you can take on 1 or 2 wounders. And then you have to punch through T6, like 3 wound heavy infantry in order to get through the rest of the unit. So it's a very difficult unit to like profitably engage into. It doesn't seem like it would be because it seems like they'll just fall over. But once you start like having to chew through these like 4 like random morons, and you can like finagle your wound allocation where you put like big hits on the Iron Can, but assuming you don't have any floating wounds or floating damage allocation, you can put little hits into the exo frames so that they'll like eat the like multiple 1 damage hits, and then you get a last cannon converted, and then it kills 1 ecog or whatever. It's actually like a really obnoxious unit. I think to more so than a lot of people give it credit for. Same issue, not being able to take a Grimnir and warriors in a Sagittor. I mean, that one makes like more sense, right? Like a Sagittor's transport capacity is such that you can put like a single character with a 5-man, but like once you start adding a lot of stuff, it becomes like a whole transport, right? You're like, I think it should have a 10-man transport capacity, so I can fit my million model character with my 5 dudes. And you're like, well, I don't know. But it's weird that their big Land Raider equivalent has like such a restrictive transport capacity. It definitely feels like they didn't do the math when they wrote the data sheet, and they just never changed it, which is unfortunate. A blade of infantry. It's because they're robots. They don't respect the robots as much. The little robot guys, they'll throw those guys in the way of bullets all day. You're not a real dwarf. Get out of here. Even though they're supposed to be like AI, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember all the lore. There was another list that we wanted to talk about. Drukhari. Think about those guys in a sec here. How Ponskin. Somebody can make fun of me in the comment section for my pronunciation there. That is a name I've not seen before. What is my purpose? You catch bullets. Oh my god. What gun do you take with Hearthguard? I think that honestly, I think you could go either way. Let's pull up their data sheet. Like, I've seen them a lot with like both. Like, you have 2 units and one is of each. I think they're both relatively effective. Like, the thing is that you want to be playing them in Hearthband or in Oathband, excuse me, and you want to put the sustained hits strat on them. The Vulcanite gets more activations of the sustained hits, but the plasma guns, like each individual conversion, is more effective. So it's like kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Honestly, I think the Vulcanite giving you more volume like helps support the unit's identity as being this like sort of volume, just like huge swath of AP0 attacks, which does help quite a bit. But if you feel that you need to punch through like medium infantry, the plasma gun's not bad. You end up paying for a lot for 6 Thunderkyn and an Ironmaster. Not like a ton, right? They're not that expensive, are they? Because the Thunderkyn are... Oh, this is the other list. I just closed the list we were just looking at. I did. The Thunderkyn are like 160 or whatever. Yeah, so you're paying $225 for that whole unit. It's like not huge for what it ends up being an 11-man like heavy infantry squad. It's not crazy. You compare those to Terminators, and you're like, oh boy. You want to take Stormbolter Terminators for like 35 points a model, and you're out 350 for that piece of shit. These guys are way better for cost. It's interesting that you don't get it. I like it. I think it's neat that they repair exoframe guys, but it's like interesting to me that they don't regenerate exoframe guys. Like, it feels like you would, if an orc mech, like a big mech, can pick up a Mega Knob and put him back together. Why can't we do that with a Thunderkyn? I don't know. It feels like there's like a mechanical through line there that we're not taking advantage of. Used to be more than a land fort. Yeah, that's crazy. No, they're really cheap. They're not like the hardest thing in the world to kill, right? Their actual saving throw isn't like enormous, but it's they're not bad for sure. They don't fall down to nothing. All right, let's talk about this Reaper's Wager. So this is the detachment where we swap winning the wager between Harlequin and Drukhari stuff. We get like just an insane grip of secondaries to play with, including like reactive moves. I believe that we have a reactive move in there, but it's a 2CP one if I remember correctly. It is yeah, you can ignore Overwatch, you can get sustained or lethal hits, you can get advance and charge, which is the big one. Fight on death, -1 to be hit, and a reactive move, but it is up for 2. For 2 CP, which is a lot. Orcs are the best mechanics. I know, it's like it is wild. It's so funny that their mechanic abilities are like strictly better than all the other factions, even though they don't even play them that often. It's like occasionally you see it, but it's because it's like not the focus of the faction, right? So like they have to be stronger so that you're incentivized to play them. But it is like really funny to like compare a tech marine to an orc and just like look how much better this like fucking orc with a wrench is than this like 500-year-old like veteran of like, you know, war machine maintenance. Incredibly funny. So we have a Beastmaster with Conductor of Torment. So as long as he's around, we can switch pain token to we can pay or gain pain tokens to switch who's winning the wager. We have Lilith Hesperax. It's interesting it's on a Beastmaster because usually you lose him early. I wonder if there is a wombo we are trying to do here where like you start with Drukhari units winning, and you could pay a pain token turn like top 1 to give Drukhari the rerolls. Because that Beastmaster usually does not live more than one turn, unless you're like things are going really well for you. So I don't know. That's interesting. There's certainly some technology here that I'm not entirely aware of, which is cool. It's pretty neat. Archon with Webway Walker, so he gets a deep strike and rural churches when he jumps in. Irian Rakarth because he's great. 1 Cavalry Warrior Squad, Witches. Venom unit, Court of the Archon to hang out with the Archon. It is a Cavalry Warrior unit, so we can Webway Walker potentially up to 10 Cavalry Warriors with the Court, and then get sustained 1 from their shooting as well, with the full rerolls, obviously, from the Archon when they get empowered. So that's actually like kind of a very impressive amount of shooting, especially anti-infantry stuff. We have a Chronos for pain token stuff, a Mandrake unit, 3 units of Scourges, 1 Haywire Blaster Squad, double Dark Lance, a million Talos, 2 Void Weavers. So we get benefits from the Harlequin side of the wager. So if you don't take any Harlequins, you outside of the Conductor of Torment guy, you gain absolutely no benefit from the detachment ability. The Void Weavers begin the game with the gaining the reroll hits and wounds of 1, so they can early on get the benefit, get the bonuses because Drukhari begin winning. If they can kill something, then they start winning, and then when you move to your early fight phases, then you can switch the winning back to the Drukhari, assuming you can get a kill with the Void Weavers. So it's nice to just be able to like pass it back to the Drukhari by finishing off a unit with these guys if they have the opportunity to do so. If they're like shooting, if you have like 5 scouts to shoot at, your 2 Void Weavers can just like pick those guys up and then switch the wager back to Drukhari whenever you need to. And then the Talos are particularly good with advance and charge because they're relatively slow, but the shorten the odds to advance and charge them is huge. Can confirm. So good stuff. I don't know. I like the inclusion of this little Court of the Archon unit, this deep striking Court of the Archon unit. That's kind of cute. Just as like a this like weird reserve threat. There's literally only 1 Venom as the only dedicated transport, so we're not really playing dedicated transport stuff. And I imagine that just embarks 5 Witches with Lilith Hesperax. I bet we're not doing anything more exciting with that. Then we get a utility unit out of 5 Witches, and then Lilith just gets to wander around with her little friendo squad. Sick, good stuff, and it went undefeated. Let's go, Drukhari. All right, chats. I got one more list that I want to talk about. There's some Imperial Knights here. It's like normal stuff. We have an Atropos and like some Battle Sisters. But I want to talk about Marshall Peterson's Necron list Can pop a transport and charge the insides of the single unit. Hell yeah. Yeah, if you can get close enough. Like the unit is still like kind of ponderous, but it is I don't know. It's real good. So yeah, I want to talk about Marshall Peterson's list because this list is like fucking insane. He went for 5-1. Not like the most insane tiebreakers ever, I guess, but this list is crazy. It is a true silver tide. So I was like, okay, it's Awakened Dynasty, and there's a bunch of Mancers. Like triple Plasmancer is kind of standard because you get their little like grenade effect, so you're stacking mortal wounds quite a bit. And if you also take that alongside Scoreback Lords, which were not in this case, then you do actually get a lot of like random out of activation mortals, which I was like, all right, fair enough. But then I was like, hold up, there's 3 Chronomancers here. What's happening? What is going on right now? Why are there so many Chronomancers and Royal Wardens? And then if we look, the answer is all these fucking infantry, chat. So there's 40 Immortals and 40 Necron Warriors. 80 total Necron battle line infantry on the battlefield. So we have a Veil of Darkness Chronomancer, so we can up down his unit, drop it next to an objective, and then shoot and move to take the objective. We have 2 more Chronomancers, so we can maneuver these units around the table. And then we have a bunch of Plasmancers, which will just like pump the damage output, right? Especially of the Immortals themselves. So yeah, that's fucking wild. We are playing Awakened Dynasty, so we have reactive regeneration. We have a Reanimator and a Ghost Arc. So we have it's the full Necron Warrior like wombo combo, right? Where I don't believe that we actually I don't think we have any actual resurrection orbs, but we do have the Ghost Arc resurrection, the reactive reanimation from Awakened Dynasty, and then obviously their normal reanimation. So we can be pumping back like 20 warriors into the unit over the course of an entire round. If your opponent concentrates all their attacks, obviously, in one target and doesn't kill them. But yeah, this is just fucking wild, dude. We have like a bunch of Gauss Blaster dudes, so we can just like stack lethals onto things. I don't know if there's any more like they get 5-up criticals from the Plasmancers, which obviously lets them do some like pretty significant damage. I don't know if there are any more like specific synergies beyond just like reanimating the dude guys. Each time they destroy a unit, you can pay 2 CP to shoot at them. Actually, I had no idea that was a stratagem, chat. Has that always been the case? You can give anything in the army assault for a CP and reroll advances. Yeah. I didn't know they could shoot when you destroyed characters, or you can shoot when they destroyed units. You have a million little units, and when they kill you, you're just like, I don't know. Here's an entire Plasmancer brick shooting back at you. That's adorable. This list is wild, chat. Absolutely insane. This is where you need the Volkite Hearthguard, yeah, for sure. Want to see this play against Green Tide? Oh man. Would it have the beef to kill Green Tide? Probably, right? It's only one Tesla squad. The Tesla squad's like where things get like really crazy. Once you get the 5-up critical Tesla squad. And I guess interestingly, well, it's 6 units and 6 Mancers. So all the units will have Mancers. So I guess like you're probably like Plasmancer, all the relevant ones. And then the Royal Wardens are also going to be important because like if you don't die to the fight phase, then they give you fallback and still shoot, right? Shoot and declare a charge. Let's go. Plus they have like a cool gun. They have a 2 damage gun with rapid fire too. Yeah, so I super wanted to talk about this list. This list is fucking insane. Also it's all +1 AP because of Storm Imotech. Not Imotech, excuse me, Saraz. +1 AP and Armor of Contempt because of Saraz. We also don't have a stealth guy. Like nobody has the enhancement for stealth either. We're just like all in, bro. Here we go. Wild. What did it lose to? That's a great question. Lost in round 5 to Imperial Knights. Look at all those knights. They're like, all right, well, the Goss tickles, and you probably don't have enough lethals, I guess. And then that's probably what happened, I guess. I would imagine. Just send more bodies, indeed. Yeah, so what a wild list. You love to see it, though. Some classic Necrons doing well. Oh, chat. I think that's going to be... That's all the armies that I had pegged. Oh, no, we want to talk about Astra Militarum before I move off. Let's do that real quick, because I know that was requested. So there was an event that I didn't discuss in my video. I think that it was still ongoing at the time I recorded my video, which is why I didn't talk about it, if I remember correctly. But it was a smaller GT, 40 players, and it was won by Astra Militarum. Lucas Stern took it down. It's a combined arms, which has been the... I think it's come out as being like the most consistent detachment. The ability to consistently order whatever you need to at any time is huge for combined arms, because you don't have to worry about a lot of like the weird keyword anti-synergies that that orders usually have. You also get the lethal hits is like big for trading, especially with Rogaldorn commanders, is what I've seen, is that like Rogaldorn commanders tend to be really inconsistent into high toughness stuff because they have a bunch of like mid strength guns, and lethal hits on them is enormous. It's good on the other stuff. It's not like crazy, but it's huge on the tanks for the late game. So it's Akkadian Command Squad, Gaunt's Ghosts, Lord Solar Leontis, and a Rogaldorn commander. We have Akkadian Shock Trooper Squad, so we can fully combo out Lord Solar with the Master Vox dude, so we can get the extra range orders and everything. Yeah, Lehman Rose battle tanks, yeah, with the rerolls as well. They're super consistent, which is great. Plus like overlapping fields, so we can buff their AP is enormous too. So it really like it turns out when you build an index detachment to fully support what the army does, and then you basically just by updating the detachment make it more consistent. It turns out that's a very good way to make a thing really strong. One Rogaldorn commander, a couple Hekaton Jungle Fighter squads, so for some early disruption, so they're just fast utility that we can scout with. 3 Hydras. That's interesting. What are we doing with Hydras? I guess they're just a really efficient autocannon profile if we're looking for autocannons. They shoot 4 twin link strength 9 AP1 3 damage shots with anti-fly 2, which is good, I guess. And then they get hit rerolls against flyers. They're 95 points. It's a solid hull. It's just a T9 and 11 wound hull. And having a twin-linked gun is good, especially because like the downside of the autocannon profile is at AP1, but we can buff it with overlapping fields, right? For +1 AP potentially. Oh, helps against Death Guard. Yeah, that tracks. For sure. That makes total sense. Yep. Yep. Take that, fetid bloat drones. I'll trade evenly with you instead of massively trading down. A bunch of Khazarkin, which is cool. Obviously the big thing about Khazarkin, I guess a big question is if we had dedicated transports. It doesn't look like we do, which is interesting. But the Khazarkin, it's less, I guess, less so without Toroxes in the list. But like the Khazarkin just being able to like hop out and then move themselves and like get into weird positions in turn 1 and then flip that into take cover on the opponent's turn with their or the beginning of the next battle round, assuming you're going bottom of turn. Or if you just order them naturally with like to go faster, they can flip that order into something more impactful later, which makes them like hyper flexible. So they're good as like a utility squad that can get up in the table, like get up in the middle of the table, do actions, mess with your opponent, melt-a-mine them to deal damage even when they're not shooting. They also then have good shooting, but their ability to flip their order once per round lets them like get into position and shoot well, or like shoot well and then protect themselves with take cover. So like the flexibility for these units is like crazy for a unit that already is going to be useful because it scouts and because it has like such solid damage output. Hydra's at a demon sick too. Yeah, I guess so. The anti-fly 2 twin linked is like super annoying for the big graders. For the most part, like most of the little stuff that flies, you're winning on 2s anyway. But yeah, into like the Fade Thirster, it's like that dude's just like pretty scared. Although he actually has an armor save now, so you might actually have to like try to cover strip or something so they actually get damage through consistently. Although you're still gonna be like just pumping shots into him, which is huge. Just forcing saves on him is already good too. And then double Lumen Rust battle tanks. So we get lethal hits on these guys, plus they get hit rerolls when they're targeting enemies on objectives or reroll ones normally. So they're very hyper consistent. We don't even have to necessarily like jump through a bunch of hoops to order them either, because we get orders out of the Leman Rust commander, and Lord Solar can order whatever he wants, right? So he's just doing cool stuff. And then like in a pinch, we could pay to let the infantry commanders order the big stuff at the same time, right? So we can get like +1 to hit on these guys, or move like pretty consistently. Leman Rust Demolisher in here as well, plus a Tempestus Aquilon unit for some utility, and a Scout Sentinel for the same thing. Reroll hits into Screamers, yeah, it's like it's not a huge volume, but it will like a couple activations will kill Screamers, and the -1 to hit kind of sucks against them. Into the 18 Screamers in Shadow Legion, because you're like 4 shots on 5s rerolling is like, and then you're already winning on 2s, like rerolling 1. So like you're the anti-fly doesn't help a ton there, but the rerolls is like fine. You'll probably average like 1 dead Screamer per tank, maybe 2 if you get lucky with the little guns. But the -1 to hit kind of sucks. I guess if you have the additional orders to be able to +1 to hit them, then that's pretty good. Yeah, I like I mean, I think also just like, I don't know, 95 points for 4 twin link shots is like pretty sweet. Like sourcing, even if it's just wound rerolls, like sourcing rerolls in Militarum like is pretty good regardless, right? So it feels like the Hydra like breaks the, like it's cheap enough and it's quick enough, especially because you can buff movement on it, that like you can probably like run out and do actions or whatever with these guys if you need to. Your opponent has to overcommit to kill them. And then like versus like a Hellhound or a Chimera or something, right? As soon as you can get any utility out of the autocannon profile, which you could do if you're like, certainly if you're building for a particular opponent, then they like edge out those other chassis. So like it makes total sense to me. And Contorted Epitome from Slanesh Demons still take Thief of Pain in Legion of Excess Detachment. I don't believe that they've changed that interaction. I'd have to look and see if they've FAQ'd it or anything. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you just select a second unit and then they suffer 1 mortal wound on the selected unit instead. So if the selected unit has mortal wound protection, it will proc into against the Thief of Pain mortal. So I don't this interaction hasn't changed. I think that all they did, they didn't change their like actual contorted, right? It's been so long since I looked at it. This thing hasn't been hasn't been like meta relevant for 6 months. Yeah, it's just a fill up pain again, 4+ fill up pain against mortal wounds. Yeah, so as long as you're leading a unit with the contorted epitome, every time the contorted epitome's unit sucks a wound off of another unit, you will get a 4+ fill up pain against it. Until the epitome's demonettes are dead, and then you lose it. But they like nerfed the data sheets for this detachment and the detached ability so hard that like very few people want to play it anymore, which is like the real problem. Like the thing was that it did like incredible damage, and it did incredible damage from like data sheets that were kind of already like very difficult to interact with, and they like turbo nerfed all the data sheets, which like would have been okay, I guess, if you had like a really like a super powerful detachment ability, but then they turned the detachment ability into like reroll ones instead of full rerolls, which is the killer, I think. Like that on top of losing the field pain on keepers and fiends being nerfed. Like nobody wanted to really like truck with this detachment anymore. Which is unfortunate. I feel like they kind of like killed the entire Slaanesh Demon like sub-faction. But it is what it is. I don't know. It's not like demons don't have good things to play. Like the other archetypes are like fucking wild, but the Slaanesh like got so many nerfs like back to back that it's just like whatever. Not that good. Any thoughts on the leaked mission cards? I haven't actually looked at them. I think what I'll do is I'll put a stream together for tomorrow. I have to hop out in a moment here. But I'll put a stream together for tomorrow, and we'll do a read through of them. Datasheet nerfs were rough. Yeah. Yeah. It was like, as soon as the Emperor's Children ones came out, Shalaxi Hellbait was like 10% as powerful. It was like, oh boy. Although the funny thing is that like carnival of the Contorter or whatever, the fucking demon detachment in Emperor's Children is really good. So it's not like Slaanesh demons like are just like unplayable or whatever. It's like that detachment fucking rules, dude. But in demons themselves, you're like, why would I touch these when I could just play fucking Khorne and get like 10 times the damage output for 100 less points? Yeah, so we'll probably talk about new mission cards tomorrow. If anyone does have a line on the tournament packet, then like hit me up, dude. We'll talk about that too. But on in the more immediate future, I am going to be running over to Twitch in about an hour. We're going to be live streaming a finals game. Speaking of Necrons, we're watching Necrons versus Emperor's Children. So that's going to be the Pod 68 finals. And I'm excited to watch that one. So that should be good. Compare Scarbrand to Shalaxi. I know. It's so brutal, dude. It's fucking horrible. Scarbrand is like so incredible, which is good because he was like pretty mid previously, but you know, it is what it is. So anyway, I think that's gonna be it for me for this stream chat. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me. Come hang out with me over on Twitch. If you aren't a follower already, please follow me. My calendar is available for everybody to take a peek at, and that one has the I update that when I schedule new games. And then we should be playing a game tomorrow with I'm playing World Eater Khorne Demonkin against Ultramarines for a team event. I have played my list exactly 0 times, and I haven't played any games of 40k in like the last week and a half, so I'm sure I'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? But that'll also go down tomorrow. So anyway, yeah, that's what's up. So I'll see you all on Twitch in a little bit. And thanks everyone for chilling with me. Keep it classy. Have happy wargaming. Oh, I should have a video later today as well too. It's almost done being edited. Yeah, hopefully that will be up this afternoon, which should be pretty spicy. It's a little spicy video. It should be cool. So yeah, enjoy that. And I'll see you then. Cheers, everybody.